Hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Jean-Luc.
I'm Nick.
And we're the Wellness Warriors.
Also known as the WW Gays. Yes, we are both names. It's so funny because we go to visit workshops like, are you guys still the WW Gays?
Yes.
We are. Our name is the Wellness Warrior Gays.
That's why we go by the WW Gays, but we also go by the Wellness Warriors. So hopefully you guys are having a great week. Happy Sunday, everybody in Zoom and everybody in Facebook and everybody on YouTube.
They're saying that we are not.
They cannot hear us. How did that happen?
Can you guys hear us now?
Can you hear us now? Debbie says yes. No, Lynn says no.
That's so weird. We were just fine.
We were fine not that long ago.
Test. We were fine the entire time too.
Yes. Do you want to just unplug? Can you hear us now? Does that make a difference? No.
Talk louder, hon.
Can you hear us now? Test.
Okay, just talk louder.
We need to yell this evening.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That was weird. That's so weird how that happened.
So I'm gonna fix the speaker. You start talking, hon. You start going, and I'll just fix the speaker.
Definitely. Well, I'm gonna start off by welcoming you all back again. Sorry about the whole technical difficulties there. You know, technology has a mind of its own sometimes. But let's bring in Naomi right now, right?
Yep.
And let's talk to bring in our co-host for the evening, and spotlight for everyone. And then I need to spotlight us as well, correct?
Yes.
And then there we go. Hello, Naomi.
Hi. How
How
you?
are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome. I can't believe it's Sunday already. It's
I know,
insane
right?
how the weeks
Go
are
by
every
so
day
fast.
like every day seems like it's the same day over and over again. Like I don't see it. Fridays to. Can you hear us okay now?
Yeah, you just froze for a split second.
Okay, we froze for a second, because we were plugging in the speaker.
So we can actually hear you now.
Yeah,
and you can
we
hear
can hear
us.
you.
So I think that's good. We fixed all the audio issues.
Yeah.
Why is it that we talk for like half an hour before the show? There's no issues.
No issues.
Then we go live, and the second we go live, it's like everything stops working.
Because when you
guess
need it
that's
to
what
work, that's when it has a problem, right?
And it goes to show you how good and how quick and
I
resourceful you
I
are.
can solve the problems pretty easily.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
That's a good thing. So hey Naomi, how are you doing? So we just talked a bit before we went live about your episode. How did watching it back now, because we filmed it last month, so it's been a few weeks since we filmed it. Do you remember what you said? Do you remember, watching it back, like, I remember saying that?
Some things I actually remembered saying, and I was like, oh yeah. But it was actually really interesting watching it back because, as I said before, I've watched it a couple times since it went on, and I learned something new every time.
That's good to you.
Yeah.
That's fun to know that you can learn something from yourself.
And that's what we were saying. It's insane how much we even sometimes go back to our old videos and we start watching them and we're like, oh wow, we used to do that at that time of our life, but the journey always changes. So certain things evolve, but then sometimes going back and being able to reapply old lessons to new situations is completely beneficial.
For sure, absolutely, because it changes things up a little bit, and sometimes you just need to change it up a little bit to make it more fun and exciting.
You absolutely do. So how was your week this week? How are you doing this week?
I was good. I'm good. It's a busy week. It's always really busy.
So you're teaching? So are you teaching virtually still, or are you actually?
No, I'm teaching in person. We went back to in person mid-February. Actually shortly after we taped the interview. And I'm really enjoying it. I love it. I'm teaching grade 3, which is a new grade for me. But I'm really enjoying it. My students are lovely.
So you have a full classroom. You don't need to go into details, but it's a full classroom, or is it? Are they still smaller, lesser amount of children per classroom?
Yeah, it's I have about 17 or 18 students, which is less than under normal circumstances. Yeah, so it helps in a lot of ways because I can in some ways do a lot more with my students. I can make those connections a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it's good. Under normal circumstances, it'd be like 25, 30 kids.
Well, again, I think we just want to thank anyone who's been out there doing what you guys have been doing for the last year. And, you know, it's crazy that, you know, we're still in this situation, but you know what, we're making the best of it. And we have some amazingly brave people that go out there every day because they know that they're helping the greater good. That's like, wow, that's mind-boggling to me.
So while we're still gonna chat, let's have everybody start sharing your celebrations.
Let's share some celebrations in chat.
In Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, please start sharing. You can look on Facebook.
Yep.
I'll do Zoom.
I know Zoom already had a bunch if you scroll up.
Okay, so I won't be able to scroll up, but yes, but please start sharing your victories.
Carolyn tracked a walk today. She tracked and walked today.
Charlotte is down 2 this week, 4.4 last week.
Someone, Denise has had a really good mindset week.
Go ahead,
so
Naomi.
That's been great.
Mary said the same. A couple people are still down. Blue dots all week. That's amazing. Yes, Carol reached lifetime. I was on a meeting with her this morning.
Yes. We were actually had a section that we were going to bring Carol in and talk with Carol and you as well, Naomi.
So
we'd love to really speak to her. You know, I'm going to bring Carol in right now, actually.
Yeah, I was on a meeting with her this morning and we all celebrated. We were so happy and excited for her.
Here we go. Everybody breaking song. Walking queen, young and sweet, only 17, and now a lifetime member. I love it.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Carol.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you for surprising me at the workshop this morning. That was such a special moment. Thank you.
Well, you have two really good friends who reached out to us and
yes,
said,
I do.
You would make her day if you guys could come and just surprise her at this workshop. And you know what? How can we say no to Arlene and Jana? Like, honestly,
I was just going to say
no to Arlene and Jana?
And what's so funny is that they sent us the first message like, she's coming to 11:30. Can you guys make it? And we're like, we can, we'll probably be mid-filming something, which is what happened today. We were mid-filming a recipe. And then so we pop in with her, like, we still have our aprons on. And then, but then they're like, then it says, oh, well, she's coming a little late. She's going to surgery because she's doing her tour. Yeah. She's doing the tour around, you know, Canada, you know, like the victory tour, because that's what it is.
It's awesome.
It's an amazing thing to go through, especially because you've met so many people. So like that's what this is about. It's getting that moment of, you know, I did this, I succeeded.
And so where from well, you're now part of the Lifetimer gang. I know, I don't even know what that means. I just made that up right now as I speak. But what are your words of wisdom that you would like to share with this community?
Oh, the biggest thing is please never give up on yourself. And I've said that a lot lately at workshops as I've come out of my shell. Thanks to a lot of encouragement from Arlene, my accountability buddy and dear friend. Is don't give up on yourself. This is 10 years and this is the first time to goal, first time to lifetime. So yeah, you have to believe in yourself. You can't give up on yourself. You're worth the time, you're worth the effort. And this community, if you're having a bad day, there are so many people here that know what you've gone through. You know, it's not like I'm never going to eat cake again. It's never like I'm never going to have those chips or whatever, but I know how it works and I know what works for me. I know that peanut butter is a weakness, so I don't bring it into the house, and I'm okay with that. Like I've gotten used to not having certain things and it doesn't bother me. But this community is key to my success. It really is. The last year has been pretty special.
Amazing, Carol. Like it's funny because we all go through like it's hard to explain the moment you go through it because you can't even describe to someone else who's still trying to get there, who's never gotten there, like what it feels like. Because he tried to explain it to me and I didn't get it either.
You can't.
It's not until it happens to you that you can start explaining what the feeling is of that moment. So I'm glad that you're sharing your journey. That's the one thing that I'm proud of in all of this is that you've changed who you are internally, even to be able to just come on here and even share your story and share with people. And I think that's a big component of WW.
And I think what happens too is I love the fact that you are proud of saying it's taken me 10 years to do this. It hasn't been a month. It hasn't been 10 months. I did this. It took me 10 years. And honestly, there's ups and downs in all of our journeys. And we have to embrace those ups and downs. Because as much as you learn from the ups, because that's what you learn a lot when you're in a good
You
headspace.
learn a lot from downs.
But those downs teach you just as many lessons and maybe sometimes more.
Absolutely.
Because
And
that's where you grow.
yeah, it's not a race and there's no right and wrong.
Yeah.
What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. It's just you have to figure out what, like Nick doesn't like kale, so he's not going to eat kale, and I may not like certain activities. So that's okay, because you find what works and you share and you learn from other people. And I've learned so much from all my friends here, and I consider you my friends. I consider, like, I don't even remember not knowing most of you. And
you think a year ago at this time,
We didn't know each other.
Most of us in this room right now, some of us knew each other, like Sue and Lynn and Kim, Rosie, like the people who've been here, the lifers, the WWGA lifers, someone who's been here for a long time. We've known them, but there's so many people that have joined in with the online community now that it's insane. And all the friendship that people have made from such a long distance, people help each other from across countries, across oceans, that they're supporting each other and helping each other on these journeys. So it's a very powerful tool. And I wish a lot more people, like I've seen in a group actually this week when I was posting, I posted about the Marathon Track Challenge for attending workshops. But I was I'm not attending them, or I haven't gone in months. And like, if you really embrace the online community, if you really looked into it and found that group you really belong to, if you don't do virtual workshops, try them out. Because you can find that group that really makes you, like, resonates with you and gives you that support, so that when you're struggling and you need to reach out, they'll be there for you and they'll help you out. So like it's
been very powerful for us. It absolutely has been powerful.
And I was at I just want to quickly say, I was at Rennie's workshop this morning, and I think it was him that asked me about, like, what's the difference about virtual, or what do you miss about not being in the workshops? But the nice thing about virtual is you're facing everybody. In a studio, you're all side by side, you're facing the coach. So here you get to know, you feel like you know each other because you're talking to each other, not like side by side. Yeah.
And as I said before, in certain ways, it's allowed us to actually have to listen to each other talk, because there's no chit-chattering with somebody beside you at the workshop.
Well, in the chat there is. In the chat there is. They're all talking. But you don't think there's instant messages going on with all of them. I can see Kim right there.
But they're also able to listen to the conversation that's happening, right? So you're not missing the same way. So it's interesting. So one last thing I want you to show is, I want you to show what you bought yourself, because I think it's awesome.
So I decided to buy myself a present for reaching this. So I bought myself a Pandora ring, and I don't know if you can see it. It's a crown. It's a sterling silver crown of daisies, and the meaning behind it is the blooming of a flower in adversity, or something like that. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact quote. So when I read that, I thought it's perfect, and it symbolizes freedom. And for being the walking queen that you've named me, I thought this is so perfect. It's my little crown, so I feel like a queen wearing it. So thank you guys. And I also want to know this, Arlene, my dear friend, she sent me this beautiful silver chain, my favorite color, purple. And I'm wearing them both today with pride. So thank you all so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, and congratulations. And if I'm not mistaken, someone did ask in chat, it was 100 pounds shed, correct? You had shed
107.6 to be exact.
Amazing.
Gosh,
Amazing. Thank you for sharing with that. And actually,
my pleasure.
FYI, she is coming up eventually in a couple of weeks as one of our Nets. So you will actually get to
see the full story.
Hear more of Carol's story.
So I was gonna say, if you haven't interviewed her yet, you should. I'm so glad.
Yeah, she's already interviewed, so she's coming up. Thanks so much, Carol.
Thanks.
So Naomi.
So let's talk about Naomi. Let's get back to Naomi here.
Yeah.
So
I was totally okay with that. That was amazing.
But so we went through celebrations. So for you, what as a member that's gotten to your goal weight in lifetime.
And do you remember that moment that like Carol just said, like today's Carol's moment of getting lifetime? Do you remember that? Like how do you remember that? And what does that moment mean to you?
I just remember how it felt. Like it felt really, really good. Like I felt very, very accomplished. And I was like, wow, I actually did it and I can do it and other people can do it. And you just gotta, as Carol said, you gotta do slow and steady and you can do it. It's not a race, right?
Once the euphoria wore off about, I got there, what was your next thought after that euphoria left you, that, I made it to lifetime, I'm there? What was your next thought after the celebration was over?
I think my next thought was, I got to keep going and make sure I can hold on to it. And we talked about this in the interview that maintenance and lifetime is hard. And I remember thinking, this is easy, like, right? But it's not. And what I said in the interview, which is the best advice I can give people, is just the strategies that you use that worked for you when you were losing the weight. You have to keep those when you're lifetime because there's a reason why they worked, and it's going to help you through maintaining your weight. And that's really important. Don't lose that because that's your momentum.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. It's always remembering that as much as this journey does not, as much as we define ourselves throughout the journey so much, you still have to realize that there's moments that struggle is going to happen no matter which way you look at it, right? And it's going to happen during the actual weight loss portion of the journey, but it's going to happen after as well. And I think that's one thing you have to realize, that life does not pause at any time, right? So you need
curveballs will be thrown.
Yeah, and you have to learn how to dodge them.
Absolutely. And I said in the interview that when I got to lifetime, which was a little over a month ago this time, I had like a 5-pound cushion. And then I had just my body and hormones and nibbling, the cushion got smaller. And I had hopped onto a peer group meeting, and the leader there said something that really stuck with me. She goes, just bottle the feeling that you had when you first got to lifetime and hold on to that. And that really helped me. And that spark of inspiration was really crucial for me. And that definitely really, really, really helped. And I also know I don't want to go back to the way I was before. Like for me, it was always remembering my why. And for those who have seen the interview, my why was something very extreme. And I keep on holding on to that why, because that, for me, that has not changed, because I don't want to go back to the way I was before. I don't want what happened to my friends to happen to me.
So you were just talking about peer groups, virtual workshop peer groups. Which one do you attend? Because I don't think everybody knows about the peer group ones. In Canada, for those of you who don't know, we actually have dedicated workshops based on specific topics. So there's a lifetimers one, there's ones for millennials, there's one for couples. There's different ones on different days. And so just wondering, which one do you attend? Which one's the ones that...
I actually attend 3 different ones.
We attend many.
Right, yeah. So I attend, there's a lifetime one Thursday evenings here in Canada, in Toronto. So I attend that one. That starts at 7:00 on Thursday evenings. I also, because I live by myself, I attend the Living Alone workshop, which is at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays, I believe, and also at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. And then there's also a long game one, which I attend also, which I believe the one that I go to is on Mondays at about 9. There's another time for that one. Forget what time it is, but I do the 9 p.m. one. So those are the 3 peer groups I go to, and they're amazing.
So for those asking in chat, in the US, you unfortunately have to have a Canadian account to be able to get into these. So yes, it's only for Canadians. In Canada, if you're in Canada, you just need to look for the peer groups themselves and connect. So if you look, you normally look for your hometown Ajax or Oakville. Instead, look for a peer group, millennials
or LGBTQ2+.
Yeah, so you can look for them, and you'll see different workshop times for those peer groups. So
right, and I know for the couples one, you don't actually it's it can be an accountability partner, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like your life partner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not exactly sure why the US has never come up with peer groups. I don't know if there are any.
Maybe it's a future thing that they're going to do as well. That Canada was ahead of the game, and they're really going to roll out in other places later. Who knows? So the long game one is having to do with being in the long run, doing this forever.
Ask that question.
Doing this forever.
I thought at first I was like, is it the lawn game? Like I thought you guys were playing lawn darts. I'm just joking. I was being funny, but I'm pumped.
You tried.
I
tried. Okay, so one of the things we celebrated today, how many workshops have you attended, honey?
We've attended 639 virtual workshops.
As of today, since last year, we've attended 639 virtual workshops across the UK, France, Canada, and the US. And lots of repeats. We've been in many locations more than once. But what was insane today is we've also now started appearing at locations we've never been before. So we're popping the workshops that we've never met the members. We've never met the coaches. So we're just surprising them. Today in New York, we pop in. There's about 50 people, and they all went crazy that we showed up. They all went, and they're like, they're on Instagram. And we're like, okay, it was really weird. And then the next one in Boca Raton, Florida, same thing happened. And Heather from Florida, who everyone knows, was actually there. And she saw it happen. She actually said to the next people, what's going on in here? Because they were all going. One of the people said, I'm fangirling, I follow you guys. And it's like, it was such a weird experience to walk into a virtual workshop and have that happen.
Because it's kind of like when we were getting recognized in person. But now virtually getting recognized.
It's just weird.
It's just weird.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, for the first little while, virtual workshops, we were strangers on every single one we went to. So it's weird to now pop into ones that we've never been to and be recognized. So you're just finding how it happened today. We met some cool people.
But what I'm loving too is how some of you are being recognized in workshops now. Like Ellen from Delaware, Carol, of course, is being recognized. It's so cool to see that. Marilyn, BC. Yeah, Marilyn from BC. Well, we all love Marilyn. We all know Marilyn. Like,
oh my gosh, she's talk about inspiration. She's
oh my goodness,
phenomenal.
Oh my goodness, like I love like that wisdom that she has, and Naomi, and the wisdom that she has. It's just crazy because we can be in that same spot now. You know what I mean? Like, look at where she's come. Like, she's been able to do this for how long, and been able to get to her goal. So it goes to show you that anybody can do it. Like, it's doable. And it's not easy. And I know that last week someone had reached out saying that they were struggling, and it's hard when you're always seeing people celebrating and people happy. And don't get us wrong, we all have our dark moments. We all have those moments where we all struggle. I was honest about it last week. I had a really rough last Sunday. I will tell you guys, I came out of the show and I knew something was bugging me, and I could not explain it. I could not explain it. And on Monday, I pushed through. I still went to work. And if it wasn't for Nick, who was like, okay, we need to work out. And I was like reluctant, but I still did it. But I cried like 4 times on that day. Like, I could not. And there was nothing really that I could pinpoint. I couldn't pinpoint something that was bugging me. And I still to this day can't. And I think sometimes there's so many little things that happen to us that we can suppress and bottle up, but those little things end up adding up together eventually. And then you have a mixed mail of things that you can't get out of. And so I'm happy it only lasted a day.
Yeah, and I've had those moments too where like I have things that trigger me and I can't figure out why. And I have moments where things that trigger me and I totally understand why. But I find like and we talked about this in the interview, like hopping onto meetings sometimes helps me. Journaling definitely helps me. Going for a walk, getting the fresh air, doing the exercise, definitely helps. And the fact, Jean-Luc, that like you have Nick to like push you and support you, and like to know, like he knows exactly what you need when. Like I know for me, I have friends when I'm having a rough day, regardless of what it is if it's WW, whatever, I know what friends I can go to based on how I feel, because I know which friend can help me and which friend can give me that push or give me that ear or give me that advice that I need when. And that's really good to know, regardless of if you can pinpoint how you're feeling or not.
And I love what you said there too, because it kind of brings me to the next point, next conversation I want to talk about was the March on Track tracking challenge. Because we wanted to actually touch upon it in our group this week. We started the March on Track challenge. For those of you who've been following, we create a poll every day at the top, and every day there's a list of categories What?
I love it. I was like, I love it.
Yeah, so every day there's a list of different categories. I track lunch, dinner, and the usual suspects, but then I always add different things. Like I had a different meal today, I did a different recipe. I called a friend. So I put something new every day for people to be interactive and, you know, talk about different things. And it's been working for us. Like for two guys who don't like tracking, I'm a big check boxer. You know, I have to check boxes on this. I can't leave lists unchecked. So I'm like anal about it all day. Like, okay, when can I check this one next? What do I need to do this box? And so I actually start doing them to try to get all of them. So, and we tracked for the first time sleep and water.
It's very frustrating though, because the ones that say I live in the UK, I just want to check them, but I don't, or I can't check if I'm green. It's like,
I'm curious.
Yeah. And Nick, I'm the same way. Like I'm a checkboxer also, and like, you have to make it fun.
I love that checkboxer.
I'm a checkboxer, right? Like. Right. And you got to make it fun. Right. And it's the same thing. Like when you had asked me, like when we had talked about what works, right. And doing the strategies that work for you, even though you're now like, I'm now lifetime, right. You have to take those strategies that work for you then and keep going with them. Right. For me, it was doing the tracking, my water, my walking every day, right. Like you got to do the strategies that work for you. And if making it fun makes it easier for you so you can do it, and making it a habit, go for it.
I think it's fun, but I think it's because we enjoy doing something for others. So by doing the poll every day and seeing other people telling us, saying, oh my God, this is helping me, I'm like, okay, then I want to keep doing it. Because that's the way that's what it's making me feel like, you know, for helping other people do their own tracking and other people are seeing success. Then for me, that's making me feel like, oh my God, I want to keep doing it. So we are going to be doing it all month, obviously. The other thing we're still doing
and we don't want anyone to feel like there's rules to this tracking challenge.
Use it how you want to use it.
Make it your own. This is a self-guided tracking challenge where all we're asking people to do is track how you feel best to track.
And for anyone wondering, the tracking challenge is only happening in our Facebook group. Yep. So if you need the link, just say in chat, and then someone can, I think Rosie could probably get the link and send it to you.
And I wanted to bring up something that I've been seeing going on in chat right here is Kelly A just posted that she has been absent in the last couple of weeks because she's been struggling. She's saying, I've been struggling. And I love the fact that everybody's in the group, but she says, I came back tonight because I know I needed to be in a place where I feel supported still. So I'm so glad that you're here tonight. And I'm so glad that I think what people need to realize too, if you are struggling, you need to, if you feel comfortable, please share.
Please
like,
come
please
see
talk
us.
to us. Like raise your hand if you feel confident enough to say, I need to talk to someone. We are live, mind you. So that would take a lot of courage. And I get that. That's why we don't ask people to share.
We stay on after the show.
Yes. I think maybe I wanted to emphasize that. We don't ask people to share their struggles because we know we are live.
Yeah.
And we don't feel like that would be something people would feel comfortable doing in a live forum.
In our private group.
Yes.
You can share there. If after the Zoom chat tonight, after the live portion of the show tonight, if you stay on after and you ask us that question, we do chat.
Definitely.
For a bit,
so I don't want people to ever think that we are not about the other side of this. We just know being a live episode.
We'll talk about our struggles.
Yes, definitely. We have no issues talking about ours because we talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
But if you are not someone that feels comfortable, but if you do feel comfortable and you want to ask a question live, please don't hesitate. But again, it's completely up to you. And so just wanted to make sure that people understood that. And the struggle is real. The life happens to all of us. And it's funny how we just need to sometimes accept it. And we just have to like figure out different things that help us along the way. Yeah. And like you said, reaching out to people, reaching out to those people that you know you have in your back pocket. Like you guys are all our back pocket people. I know if I send a message in our group at any given time, at least a minimum, and I'm going to say 10 people would reply to that message.
Yeah.
And I'm being cheap because I know there are probably about 45,000 people. No, a good 10,000, not 10,000, a good 50 people would reply to that message.
Wow, you went from like 4,000 to like 10,000.
I can't even think right now.
10 people.
I can't even think right now. But, you know, so I want people to realize that we all struggle and it is a lifetime journey. Like never forget that. It's part of what you go through today is just going to make you a stronger person.
So yeah, so the tracking challenge continues. I wanted to just talk about you want to talk about this, hun? The app for
Yes.
snacking?
Something I did want to mention is we did some research. I know a lot of people have been talking about our, we have an Apple Watch challenge. And so we've been looking for a platform where we can get everybody to do a step challenge together.
They're all like $4,000.
It's insane because you have to be a corporation or we can say, yes, we can get an app where we can all do it together, but it's going to cost you all $7. And we're not willing to get people to pay $7 for a step challenge.
So what we're putting out there is if you own a Fitbit.
Yes.
And you know how to create competitions on Fitbit.
Yes.
If you know there's an app that does that, or you want us to be able to
and post it in our group, so that
just coordinate, talk to us, so we can maybe coordinate something to create a contest on Fitbit for April.
A monthly hit.
If you have a Garmin, and you know how to create contests on there, and you want to be the person who can run a contest for us for Garmin, reach out to us. We would love to have cross-platform. We can't afford to buy.
I don't have enough risks to have more.
I can't have all the other watches, and we can't go
Paula does that.
Yeah. But that we still want to try to have contests for everyone else and challenges, because we feel that everyone who's doing the Apple Watch one has been saying how it's been helping them. So we'd love to help others also feel that same. So if you're out there and you want to help us, please just send us a message. We really appreciate the help. So I want to make sure to talk about it because we forgot about it last week.
We did.
So this week's topic was all about, most of the week was about, setting goals for yourself, like setting goals. It's funny because a lot of the conversations was about saying, look at your preferences, your intentions, things like that, in order for you to really decide like how to set your goals. And it's funny is that every time this week we were in workshops, almost every time one person at one point talked about, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I will preface this because again, we're just talking about our journey and for our journey. People would say, I stopped snacking after 6 all night this week. And I'm so proud of myself, which is an amazing feat. I'm so proud of you.
Those of you who can do it.
You can do it. But for us, that was always our biggest downfall, cutting out snacking from 6 p.m. And we shared this week across all workshops how we had to learn after so many attempts that if we didn't incorporate and learn how to snack correctly, we would fall into the same patterns over and over again. We would never succeed.
And we were proud of one person. It was insane. There was only one person throughout all this. I've never, ever seen anyone type this. She typed in the chat, I gave up snacking after 9 p.m. And I was like, okay, that's doable. Like goal. To me, I'm like,
I can do that.
I can maybe do 9:30.
Yeah.
I'll negotiate 9:30. But you know what I mean? Like, and it was like, it's so funny that why we never thought of that before. Why did we always say 7 p.m. was the time? But what's wrong with moving the cutoff time?
Yeah, so we still can have our snack time when we cut it off ahead of time. So again, it's about learning who you are. That's why there's 3 plans. That's why we're on blue, because blue works for us. It works for our lifestyle. It doesn't mean it works because it's making me lose weight a little faster than purple and green. Nothing to do with that. It's because I don't like to track. And I also can't control myself with popcorn, potatoes, and pasta. So that's why I'm in the middle. But if you could control yourself with potatoes, pasta, and whatever popcorn, the other one there was, and you can stay on purple, then that's for you. And it's the same thing about any skill you learn on this journey.
Naomi was.
Go ahead, Naomi.
It's about what works for you, right? We talked about this in my interview. It's about what works for you. And it's the beauty and the flexibility of this program is that you can find what works for you and what you're comfortable with, and to help you lose the weight, to help you with your strategies, right?
One of the coaches we went to, and me with words and language and all this, she said in their workshop, they got rid of the word goal. They said to them, goal just seemed too, how did they explain it? Like it was too rigid for them, or like it was something too hard to achieve. So they said, we set intentions. And I love that play with words.
How we love to change words.
I love changing words. And I love when I hear people talk about that, because
we've changed words because of others telling us that we're changing. There's some words.
When I said, we used to say repeat offenders all the time. Look at this. We would always say, we're repeat offenders, till someone said, did you realize how negative that sounds?
And we're like, yeah.
And we're like, wow.
We're frequent flyers now. We collect a lot of miles.
We collect points.
Words are powerful. When we were talking about Pink Shirt Day the other day, and I did a whole lesson. I did like a whole 2-day lesson with my students about Pink Shirt Day. But words are powerful, and how you use your words. I don't remember which peer group I was in. It might have been Living Alone, but don't quote me on that. Somebody in one of the peer groups said they don't like the word exercise, because for them, for whatever reason, for them it's a negative connotation, and for them they like the word activity better because for them it has a positive connotation and it helps them with their motivation to move more, right? So the movement.
Yeah, and that's what this is about. And I think that's the key piece here is you have to find the words, the vocabulary, the activity, the food, the mindset, the sleep, everything that is going to work. And it's not going to be overnight. If you think about it, you're trying to become a scientist of your own body. You're trying to learn what ticks you and what's going to make you successful to keep this healthy journey. And so it takes levers and different attempts, and you're going to try something. It's not going to work out. It's all part of the learning process.
But then somebody else made me think of another thing that I loved, and again about words.
Yes.
And it was, okay, so what makes a word? Why do we have certain words? Oh, wait a minute, let me rephrase this. Why do we have to define certain words certain ways? For example, she said, why is it that when I think snack, my brain automatically goes to cupboard? Why can't my brain go snack, fridge instead? So why can't we just change the definition of certain words by creating better habits? By creating mind patterns that allow us to refocus the words that maybe we do need to reuse.
We've been very vocal about the fact that changing the way we speak to ourselves, we spoke to ourselves this time compared to the previous times was one of the key ingredients to our success. Because if you start constantly berating yourself and saying negative things to yourself, you will subconsciously start to believe it.
Yeah.
You might say to yourself, oh, I'm just being funny, I'm just being a jokester, like, you know, those self-deprecating. I used to be the big guy, so I would make self-deprecating big jokes because I was the big guy, so that's the thing you did. But inside, you still felt that, you know, that the sadness from, you know, feeling that, you know, you still feel it inside in some way. So you can't, you know what I mean? It's
yeah, definitely. It's hard to explain, but like really understanding how you speak to yourself really helps. And I'm sure, like you, Naomi, how you speak to yourself and teaching children, like being a teacher, the words you use, I'm sure daily impact the child's life.
It's all about perspective and connotation. You have to be very careful what you say and how you say, because kids will pick it up no matter what age they are. And it's little ears. So a friend of mine who lives in Calgary, we were talking recently, and she's like, we have to remember there's little ears around, right? And we have to remember how we speak, and we, in terms of positive speech, to set a really good example for ourselves and for those around us.
So why aren't we applying that to us as adults? Why is it just little ears? Why isn't it all ears? Why are we not positive and gentle to ourselves? Like we say this for children.
We try to teach them
that, but we don't even apply it to ourselves.
Right, but that's the whole thing. Like as a teacher, and we need to apply this to the rest of our lives. Also, it's about how we model, right? It's not just about modeling as a teacher. It's modeling all the time, right? Professionally and personally.
Yeah.
And
it's even for us now, like when we decided to become on social media, we know now when we go outside, I can't drive down the road, get all angry, give people the middle finger because I'm angry, because I'm road rage. I have to be careful now. People might see me like Nick from the WBK shows middle finger down the stick. You know what I mean? Like we have to be careful. I won't say I've never done it. I am human. I have gotten angry behind the wheel and have flipped off a few people in my lifetime.
I've never done it.
He's worse than me, so he's worse than me. But the thing is, it's applying that same lens. Like we've learned from the last 2 years that you do get more from honey than you do from vinegar.
You attract more bees with honey than vinegar.
Yes, that's the expression. I was trying to remember it.
No, I got it. I knew what he meant. No, guys.
You know what I mean? Because like in the past, we used to walk up to a customer service scenario angry always, and we'd walk up angry and we'd start a conversation angry, and the person would be two bulls fighting. We'd get angry, it'd be yelling, be done, and nothing would happen. A few years ago, we started switching that and walking up positively to those situations. Even though we're angry inside about what's happening, the person behind the desk right there is not the reason why this is happening. They don't deserve to be treated that way. So we now walk up to them with it's not their fault. They're not the ones who are causing this. So we start off the conversation with the mindset they're going to try to help us. We start off the conversation.
Like Emily said, positive intentions.
Positive
Assume
intentions.
positive
Now
intentions.
the conversation turns sour. Doesn't mean I won't stand up for myself. This doesn't mean I'm just going to let people walk. No, it means I will walk into the intention that the person is not trying to be mean to me. They're going to try to help me the best I can. And that's what we've changed that mindset for across everything we do. And it's been great for us to do that kind of mindset.
And it's really great to change that mindset towards yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like talking to yourself in the same way, the positive words. It's
Right.
insane the amount of like
What it does.
what it does to you. It's almost like a drug now. Like having that positivity is needed. And even when I'm having a down day, I use all the tools that I've developed in order to try to get me out of that dark hole. And I try them all. I try the first one, I try the second one, I try the one that says, you've been through this before. I try the one to think of all the positive things I have in my life. I go through so many different exercises. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. But before I never had these exercises. I used to be gone for days.
And I think what happens too is we have to remember that maybe you need to cycle them once and then you have to start again from the beginning. If they didn't work the first try going through them all again, because the more you go back through those moments of knowing that you have gone through things, knowing that you have made changes, knowing that there's always tomorrow, there's another day, there's another hour, there's another minute. Like you can always make that change. You can always keep trying is basically what it is. It's always to try.
Absolutely.
So if anybody wants to raise their hand, everyone wants to say, I know Devin's there.
So we'll talk to Devin for a quick second there. Hey, Devin.
Hi, boys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You guys are so adorable when I see you guys on Sunday.
We dressed up again tonight. We thought we'll get dressed up for Devin. She likes it when we dress up, so we thought we'd get dressed up for you.
We don't get dressed up very often anymore. So we're like,
might
as well wear the clothes.
Yeah. How you doing?
Well, you guys are so adorable, no matter what you guys have on for clothes. But on a serious note though, in my birthday month, let me rephrase that. Sorry. In February, it was my birthday month, and I was partying like crazy because I couldn't come on one of the meeting nights because my dad was throwing me a party and all that. But I did cheat to have like cake and chocolate and everything, and I did track. And a friend of mine.
That's not cheating.
That's not cheating then. That's just indulging.
If you tracked it, it's not cheating.
You tracked it. You did your due diligence. You took it. You enjoyed it. It was your birthday.
You treated yourself.
You treated yourself.
Yeah. I'll take that. But
take it.
But I went to Sonic and I did track before I ate it on the safe side. And then what I'm working on as a little project for myself, that I'm making a menu binder. So when I go out to restaurants and stuff, I can just pull it out and go, oh, this is so-and-so. So I can like track it in my phone so I don't forget. So if I go to restaurants,
you're like almost like a takeout Bible, like you're creating yourself like a guide to, so when you go out, you have everything you need already available for you, so you know what you're going to eat and you can track it right away. That's pre-planning. That's amazing.
Yeah, and once it's done, I'll show you guys once it's all completed.
Sure, for sure.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Devin.
You're welcome. Love you, boys.
Love ya.
We have Barbara next. Hi, Barbara.
Well, hello, Barbara.
Hello. I
How
have
are
some
you?
good news. Barbara finally hit double digits. She finally lost 10 pounds.
Woo!
First time ever on WW that I can
Yay.
remember, put it that way.
That's
awesome.
amazing, Barbara. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Awesome. So, I went out for Mexican and I enjoyed it. So now I'm going to track the drink I had. I already checked the fajitas before I left.
That's amazing.
But I brought some home, so I have dinner for Tuesday, so I didn't eat them all.
Excellent.
Planning ahead.
And I'm enjoying this tracking challenge, guys.
Oh, thank you.
And the Apple Watch.
So am I. Like, honestly, this tracking challenge has really changed my whole thought on tracking. I actually look forward to doing it now, which I never, ever
And
have
congratulations
before.
to you guys on your weight losses and tracking for as long as you guys have been doing.
Thank you.
I love you guys both.
Oh, you're
love you
so
too.
sweet. We love you too.
Thank you.
Rosie laughed at me the other day because how I tracked the first night. She's like, I love your tracking. It says snack, 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 popsicle, snack, snack, snacks, popsicle, snack.
Don't forget the chocolate. Don't forget the chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Hey, but
snack
it works for
chocolate.
that's how if it works for you and that's what works for you to track.
Absolutely. I just thought it
Great.
was adorable more than anything else. I wasn't
100%
truly
adorable. I
teasing.
love it.
Yeah, Jana's here. Jana, who we interviewed yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Hi, Jana.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to
Best
see you.
workshop in the house.
Seats in the
We have a
house.
question.
Oh, best workshop. I sure her head's covering seats. I was like, right, thanks. Best workshop in the house. I'm like, I love it. I appreciate
It is the best WW workshop in the house. All right,
You're awesome.
all right, Naomi, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How did you come across Nick and Jean-Luc?
Actually, they had they were guests at a workshop that I was at back in the spring when we started virtual.
Yeah.
With Brenda in one of the Thornhill groups. I believe it was either a Tuesday or Thursday morning when we were originally in lockdown, and they came to speak. And I had heard about them before when we were in person. I had heard about them before, and then we met in the virtual, and I just started following them that way. And they are, and as we all know, they're amazing and phenomenal. They're such
Yeah.
inspirations, right?
Yeah,
You guys
I
really
listened to
fun.
your story today, Naomi, and it really was very touching about
Thank
your
you.
why. And maybe you could share, if anybody hasn't had a chance to watch it yet, maybe you could just share a little bit about the reason why you started this time.
Sure. Get the Kleenex ready because it was very extreme.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm an interviewer too.
No, I am
I love
totally
it.
fine with
See you
that.
later.
They're like, bye. So for me, I started WW for the second time in 2013, and I was going through a lot of hardships at the time. I had lost 2 out of my 3 grandparents and my mother literally back to back. So my grandmother had passed away 15 months later. My grandfather had passed away 13 months later. My mom had passed away, and then I was seeing a grief counselor to help me deal with all that, especially with my mother's passing, because I was having a really tough time with it. And about 6 months, probably about 6 months into seeing the grief counselor, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who lived in a different country, letting me know that another friend of ours, unfortunately, who was going through a lot of physical and mental health issues at the time, and who was also heavy, had gone to bed one night and didn't wake up. And I think her heart and her body just gave out on her. And for better, I got the phone call when I was walking into my grief counseling session. And my grief counselor, who I said in the interview, by the way, he looks like Albert Einstein. He's got like the hair, the beard, like the bow tie, but he calls me out on my stuff, right? And I sat down in front of him and he said to me, "You look white as a ghost. What happened?" And I'm like, "Nothing, I'm fine." And he kept on pushing, and I was like, I wouldn't let him push. And then eventually I just broke down crying, and I explained to him what happened. And I said to him, "I can't do this anymore." And he said, "Good." He goes, "Go do something about it." And about a week or 2 later, I walked into my first WW meeting. And it's very funny, and I said this in the interview, a few weeks before all this happened with my friends, my grief counselor called me out on my weight. So it's ironic that it all sort of happened. And that was my why. And I said to Jean-Luc and Nick, for me, I needed that extreme. I don't think it would have happened for me otherwise. And I think for me, if I wasn't dealing with all the grief of losing my grandparents and my mother, especially so close together, if that wasn't going on at the same time of what happened with my friends, I don't know if it necessarily would have had the same impact on me. And I don't know if I would have necessarily walked through WW doors. But as we said in the interview, it happened at the right time. It happened at that time for a reason. And it was the worst thing that ever happened to my friend, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And her her extended family doesn't really know that she was my why. And I said this in the interview, and her aunt had actually bumped into me and had asked me why I started losing the weight. And it took me a while for me to say it to her because I didn't want to offend her or anything. And when I told her, she said, what a beautiful tribute to my niece. Like her death wasn't in vain. It's now like she was my inspiration for doing this. Right. So that's in a nutshell, that was basically why.
And now I know your story will impact a lot of people, because I think a lot of us, we think about our whys, and we think it's one thing. We look, and I think Jan, in your interview yesterday, we kind of went through this too with you as well. But when we first started, I think our first few times, our why are focused very differently. And as we mature, as we get older, as we start running through this journey, certain new things start popping up in your head. You start learning different things along the way that it clicks. And that's what everybody says, there's a click that happens and things start clicking. And that's the why is usually what brings those clicks on. I'll be honest, the times that we tried doing WW before this last time, we had no health issues at all. We were still pretty healthy. We didn't have high blood pressure. Jean-Luc could still walk before that time. We still were okay. And so because there was no bigger why, we were like, oh, we're still young. We can still enjoy our food. Yay, party. But then the last time when we came back, when our health had deteriorated so much in just 2 years, we're like, this is 2 years. What's going to happen in 4 years from now? I know, I've heard what happens to my family. Do I want to go through that? Do I want to go early? And that's when those things start clicking in your head. You're like, okay, I do want cake, but maybe I shouldn't have cake every day. Maybe cake once a month is okay because I still get to have cake, but maybe not all the time. That's okay. I can still have cake. And if I have cake all the time until I'm 90, that's a lot of cake. So I'm going to have a lot of cake in the long run. So that's okay. And that's what you start thinking about in your head. You start computing these things. And then that's when things start getting easier because you realize that this is not the last time you're going to have this piece of cheesecake. If you skip this one, it's okay. You can have another one a few days later. And that's what ends up starting to happen in your head. So I just wanted to make some, I really want to touch on that because it's just how that's how it happened for us. I don't know if that's the same for you, Naomi. Was it the same for you?
Yeah, for me, it was not wanting, like I continued the journey because I didn't want to go back to the way I was. I didn't want what happened to my friends to happen to me. And I said that in the interview, right? Right. And when I first did WW in 2006, because a family member brought all the info home and I had lost 20 pounds and then we just stopped doing it. And then, because it was like with you, like I didn't have like a bigger why. And when I walked through the door, right?
That's
like
exactly
the first time we did it, I didn't have this huge why. The second time I did it, which is this time, I had a bigger why. And for me, I needed that, right? And I don't want to go back to the way I was because I don't want what happened to my friend to happen to me, right? And that carries with me.
Yeah. And I want to give you credit because a lot of people would have just went, look at all the trauma and tragedy that you just had to deal with. And most of us, I don't know, I can only speak for myself. I would have been knee deep in a bag of chocolate almonds at that point. Like,
oh my God.
I've had those moments. We all have those moments. And it's about having those moments. And I've said this and we all said this, to just do it, accept it, move on. And then tomorrow's like another day. Right. And you can just keep going. And I know for me, I got to Lifetime after 2.5 years, this time after being on WW, and I was like, I can do this by myself. And when you hear the interview, you can hear me say this, I can do this by myself. I was doing everything except I stopped going to the meetings, which was a really big mistake. I gained 20 pounds back. I caught it in time, started coming back to meetings. And now I'm back and now I've lost those 20 pounds that I gained back. Because I was like, what am I doing? I can't go back to the way I was. I can't do this.
And you know what you remind me of, Naomi? You remind me of something we've heard this week.
Yeah, it's make our mistakes into wins. Someone said that.
Wow.
And
your mistakes into
make your mistakes into a win. Don't look at everything we do as a mistake. I think a lot of times we say we made these errors or we did this wrong, and really we didn't. We just didn't know how to do it yet.
And we're trying to learn, so it's okay to do a mistake. The first time you tried to walk when you were a baby, It wasn't the first time you did it, right? They had that scenario during a WW workshop recently.
And we say, what do we say to a baby when they're walking and learning? You go, you're doing
it. So next time you try something and it doesn't work out, go, oh my God, you tried it. Yes, I did it.
We learn from our mistakes. I tell my students that all the time. This is how we learn, by making mistakes. And my students have seen me do a few fumbles since I've started teaching them. And I've said to them, I'm like, even teachers make mistakes. We all learn. No one's perfect. We don't know everything, right? And that's how we learn. And we learn by making mistakes and keep going. Because I knew when I got to Lifetime and then gained the 20 pounds back, I worked so hard to get there. And I was like, I worked so hard. Why am I letting this go, right? So I stopped it then, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, I always say a lot of progress can be made in that gray area. A lot.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Jana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jana.
Love your question. I love when people come on and ask questions. So anybody, if you ever want to co-host with us, we're fine. We love chatting with people. So just raise your hand. We'll have a conversation. We'll have some waffles. We'll talk about girl stuff, do our nails, it'll be fun.
I love it.
I try. So we are running out of time. So we're going to run
one more comment that someone made at a workshop that I really loved as well was no NSVs equals no LBS. And I was like, I love that. That's such a cool concept. Like, if you're not celebrating those NSVs, you ain't going to be celebrating no LBS eventually, which is your pounds, right? Like, I was like, what a cool little thing to put up somewhere.
So Rosie said it was from Joanne from her meeting.
Oh, that was your meeting? I just remember, I hear things in meetings and I'm like, when I hear something, I'm like, I gotta write it down.
Can't get the names all the time. There's too many things happening. We're in workshops, guys, especially when we were in Jana's. It's literally we're sitting here and there's 100 people and we're getting like, oh, hi, Jean-Luc and Nick, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. It's like, we're scrolling up, clicking on people. Oh, hi, how are you doing?
I'm surprised we haven't sent the wrong message to the wrong person.
Jean-Luc, it was a few things from her that you really moved you and you got really excited about during that meeting. Joanne's a bomb. She's
amazing. She was fantastic. She came out with so many things.
I want your Zoom link because I want to come to your meetings now.
Toronto North, Saturdays at what big time is
that? Yeah, no, you can't because you're doing your Shabbos.
I am. Oh, bummer. Okay.
But everyone is welcome to come who would like to. Toronto North, it starts 8:45 is check-in, 9:15 is the meting.
Find out if Joanne goes to another workshop and see if Naomi can.
Joanne actually was trained to be a leader as well. So she's a coach, but I don't think she's coaching right now, but she was a coach. But that's how I met her as she was doing some of her practice coaching.
Oh, cool. Well, the more you know.
The more you know, exactly.
This is shooting star. So we do have things coming
your assistant because she knows everything.
Yeah.
She does know everything. The lovely assistant, Rosie.
So coming up next Saturday, we've talked about it last week. There will be no advertisement. This is just between you and us.
Yes, everybody in the group.
We are doing a celebration 1-year dance party in COVID-versary in our Facebook group
on Saturday night
and Zoom. So if you have this link tonight, next Saturday, just try coming in around 8 p.m. time, Eastern time. We'll be starting out the dance party then, but we'll also be going live we're actually going to be live streaming this group in the group. So it'll be kind of, you guys will see each other dance in the group as well if you dance with us. So it'll be kind of fun. We'll make it a real dance party. So that'll be, and we're not advertising anywhere.
And Rosie's advertising it as her birthday dance party because her birthday's on Friday.
Well, we'll sing you happy birthday, Rosie.
Yes.
On the 14th, next Sunday, Fireside Chat. Antonetta is coming to see us because the retreat's coming up. Power 3. You've been seeing posters and posts and different things. Guys, we're so excited. We finalized a full schedule this weekend.
Insane.
And we can give you some stuff. So for people who attended the first one, it is a reimagining of the first retreat. Yes. There is 2 sessions that are similar to what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Where there's 2 entirely new sessions. One called Feed Your Health with Kieran.
Yep.
And one called Living Today with Mental Health with Cindy. So she's also going to be joining us. She's I'm trying to remember.
She
her
works in,
title.
I don't remember her title right
Yes.
now either. She works in the mental health industry and she
Yes.
has been for the last 23
Yes.
or more years,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. So
We're also having laughter classes.
we are having laughter
with
classes.
Denise and Effie from Quebec. So
Yes.
they are going to make us exercise by laughing. So we're going to be
using
doing
our
that.
diaphragms and laughing. We're going to become laughlete.
Lastly, so that's happening as well. There's also going to be a virtual dance party. There's also going to be a games night where there's going to be a comedy / chat hour. There's going to be chat rooms. There's a private Facebook group. Every session is recorded so you can watch it again later. There's going to be memorabilia. There's prizes.
And there's almost $1,500 worth of
prizes
giveaways
from True
True
Local,
Local,
Flourish,
Hops, PB Me, Pillars, Clubhouse.
We got a lot of companies to actually provide prizes for this retreat. We are so excited. There's so many things. It's now a full weekend event. Everything's been spread out throughout the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The cost is still $55, just like last time. The links will be going up live March 15th. And we're so excited, guys. Like the last one was amazing, but we're really prepared for this one. We've
taken a lot of your feedback into consideration and hopefully even
improved on what we did
the last time.
So that's coming up on March 26th, 27th, 28th.
And then on
21st.
The 21st, we have our special guests. We have all of our WW Peeps moderators. So Rosie, Kim, Patricia, and Mel Bells will be here hosting with us on that night. So that'll be a lot of fun. We're actually gonna
do our hair, do our nails.
We're gonna sit down and do nothing, and we're letting them host the night.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a break.
We're totally
a drink in
hand.
hand.
You guys get to do everything. Like we should. We're totally doing this. It's all on you that night.
So this week we are visiting virtual workshops. On Wednesday, we're doing Canada Connect with Marcia at 7 Eastern Time. And then on Saturday, we're doing Westminster, Maryland at Best Western. Then Middletown, New York, and Pierrefonds, Quebec.
And then on Sunday, we're in Orange, Connecticut. Sorry, I mean, what's that? Orange, Connecticut, Brookfield, Embrook Plaza, Wisconsin, and then Torrance, California.
So a little less workshops as we're getting closer to the retreat.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. If you guys did, please hit the like on the YouTube video.
Thank you, Naomi, for being part of the show tonight.
I'm
sorry. I just wanted to make sure I wanted to thank her first.
I was going to thank her as the last thing.
I wanted to make sure. But thank you so much for being part of our show tonight. Thank you for being so open and candid during the interview and sharing your story. Because again, guys, it's not easy for anyone to say, yes, I'm going to record my story so people can see it. And so
it's not an easy thing to come to terms. It's not. It takes courage to actually stand up and say, I'll do that.
You are a very courageous woman, and it's beautiful to see, and it's great to see that we as a community can support each other in so many ways. So
thank you so much for having me, and thank you for saying yes. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
So I will share our thing then now, I guess.
Excellent.
And then you want to talk about all our stuff, or right here? There we go. So just sharing all of our links. So those of you who don't know how to follow us on all social media. And again, if you guys enjoyed this show today, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to our channel. Please share the videos. Let other people know how to find us, because you guys are the ones that get us people to follow us. We just show up at workshops and talk a lot, and then you guys come here and make it grow. So thanks so much for being amazing.
Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a great night.